Eddie Murphy, thank you for this. Eddie Murphy's on my short list. If anybody knows Eddie and he wants to call me, I'd love to have a conversation with him because I had so much appreciation for the fact that he said what needed to be said. And I know he's an entertainer, so he can't sound judgmental. That's my job. I'm going to be the asshole that says the judgmental stuff. But what I like about Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle, what gives them superpowers, in my opinion, is these are men where I have no doubt that if we were all in a room, we'd agree on a lot of issues. They say a lot of the same things I say, but because they make you laugh when they're saying it, they're actually able to get it out, which I think is just beautiful and brilliant. I love that. I don't have that power, right? So ultimately, these men, in my view, are assets to the community. So not every celebrity is bad or harmful. You've got some that really get it, and I love the fact that Dave uses the power of comedy to really say stuff that if he were a college professor saying these things, he probably couldn't get away with it. And it's not a coincidence that Dave's mother is what? Surprise, surprise, a college professor. I'm a college professor. That's what we do, right? So anyway, moving on. Couple things too. One other thing that money can do is money and fame can multiply your temptations faster than your discipline grows. So you're 22, 23 years old. Um, a lot of money gives you sudden exposure to a lot of things that can easily ruin you. Access to a lot of sex and drugs and alcohol, gambling, all that stuff, and a risky lifestyle. I think Charlie Sheen talked about how he got hooked on crack and how that happened when he was young and he's famous and he's getting introduced to things and there's nobody there to kind of put guardrails up and say, no, you're too young for this, or no, we're not, this is not what you're going to do. And next thing you know, he's the 50-year-old crackhead, who very talented crackhead, by the way. um, Also, what a lot of money can do is it can definitely undermine the trust that you have in relationships. This is something that I personally experienced that. When you have a lot of money and people know you have money, like I'm not a celebrity in that way. I don't see myself that way. People recognize me in different places, so I guess I have a little bit of that. I don't know, but one thing that happens is when like I'm known as a money guy, right? So it's not uncommon for people to try to involve me with things that affect money, right? And what happens is you never really know who's really, like, if you lost all the money, who's still going to be your friend? Who's still going to be around if the money's gone? So it creates like a type of paranoia, I think, that can make it hard to have like meaningful, healthy relationships. So now that I think about it, um, I know that when I married my wife, one of the things that made, because I met some women, when I was single. There was a lot of pretty smart black women out here, but I chose to marry my wife largely because she knew me 30 years ago, right? And she also, I remember her saying things like, "Hey, if you lost all your money, it's okay. Like I have enough. We'd be fine." And I think little things like that just make a difference. Like it's like, yeah, I don't care about paying for stuff and I can afford all that, but you always kind of wonder, like, what happens if I don't have any money? Like, what happens if you see me as Superman, what happens if I take my cape off? Do you still love Clark Kent, or do you just love Superman? Because that's kind of a hard world to live in. So I think that for a lot of celebrities, it's for the big celebrities, it's probably that times 100. You really just don't know why people are around, and so it can undermine trust in relationships. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna stop being so serious for a minute, and we're gonna go take a visit to my Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance, and I promise you all I'd show you my my latest. I don't know if y'all gonna like it or not, but it's my latest little clip, and everything I do. I like for it to have a point too, but I like to have fun at the same time.